Hi, my name is Annie with Proud Pyro, and today I'm going to be making a pizza in the Pyro Tower. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I have the grill grate on there. We've already started the tower. We've already had some wood burning because the most common mistake people make when they make pizza is they just get the fire roaring hot and then throw the baking steel in there, or the pizza steel, and then they get everything so hot that their pizza gets burnt like right away. My advice to you is start it, then start getting all your things prepped or ingredients prepped, and you want some coals down there. And I'm going to throw some more wood on here because of course I want to control the fire, but if it's roaring and going crazy, it's really hard to control that level of heat and get it either as hot or as cool as you want. So my advice is get the ashes and some coals in there and then slowly add some pieces of wood as needed. And if you need to amp up that fire, you can allow more oxygen going in by changing the louvers and by changing your vent doors, or you can go ahead and just damper them by closing them if you want less fire and less oxygen. So right now I have some good coals going. I'm gonna go ahead and add some firewood to that to get a little bit more fire going so that I have some more heat for actually cooking. Another great tip is when you are cooking, instead of just burning as a fire pit, I highly suggest going ahead and trimming your wood down to smaller pieces. There's some great tools out there that can do that for you, but it allows you, again, to be able to control the fire a little bit better with smaller pieces. Oop, I almost forgot my gloves. Safety first. I felt it once I felt the heat. I was like, oh no, I need gloves. So that's not hard to remember. I'm just going to put a couple smaller pieces on here. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to utilize that grill. And I'm going to get a little smoke from the wood, but I'm going to utilize that grill. I'm going to char my peppers because peppers are great on pizza, but I actually want them to be a little charred as a little bit of flavor, but I also like just using the grill with it before I put the pizza steel on there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these on there and get the rest of my pizza stuff going. All right, so the peppers have been roasting a little bit and I have all my ingredients ready. And so I'm going to go ahead and remove these peppers and slice them up because they're the last ingredient that I need. Nice charring on both of them. So I'm going to slice those up and put them on the pizza when it's ready. So you can see right now that I don't have the baking steel in the Pyro Tower yet, which is exactly what you want to do, because if you put it in too soon, it's going to get so hot. It's just going to scorch the bottom of your pizza, which is the number one question we have people that write in say, I tried to make pizza and it's just burning the bottom every time. Well, this is why. I'm going to go ahead and put the door onto the Pyro Tower because I want to get it up to about 450 to 600 degrees. There's a thermometer on this door. And I'm going to put the vent door on there also so that I can kind of control the amount of airflow going through. And if I want to cool it or keep it at a certain temperature, I'll close them about halfway, or usually just about halfway for pizza. But I'm going to let all that air continue going through, so I'm going to leave the louvers open and let that all vent out, and then leave these completely open so that I can watch that thermometer is going up. Okay, so I want it to get up to about 450 to 600 degrees. I really don't want like 1,000 degrees. So once it gets up to that temperature and I have the pizza all ready to go, I'll put the baking steel in, and then I will use the pizza scrape and I will slide the pizza into the tower and let it bake. The pizza steel really only needs a few minutes to heat up. Really about 3 to 5 minutes. You can use an infrared thermometer to check the temperature, but you want it to be at least 450 degrees up to about 600. Your toppings are all cooked, so you don't need to worry about those cooking, just mainly the cheese melting is what you want. And if you're staying within that 400, so I'm hitting about 600 degrees right now, I know that I could put that baking steel in, but if I put it too soon, it's going to burn the pizza. So I'm going to make the pizza. And while I'm making the pizza, I'm going to put the baking steel in there and let it heat up, and then we'll just be ready to toss the pizza in there. All right, so first I want to cut these up so I have all my ingredients ready to go. The fun thing about making pizza is that you can have all of these ingredients just sitting out and or just sitting in your fridge, including the dough. The dough can last for about up to a week, I believe, depending on the recipe. But you can just have them sitting there and just have it on reserve for when you're ready to make pizza and want something quick and easy, or you want to cook outside using the Pyro Tower. If you have people coming over and you all want to sit outside, it's a great thing to cook while sitting outside. I only need a few of those peppers. Still a little hot, which I should have expected, but it's not that bad. They smell good. All right, slice these up as best as possible. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this extra stuff that I don't need, even though it really smells good. Get those out of the way. Okay, so I need to I have all my ingredients ready to go. And I need to put the baking steel into the Pyro Tower to start heating up. Because it's at 600 degrees right now, which is where I want it, between 450 and 600. And then I'm going to get that heating up, and I'm going to make my pizza directly onto the pizza scrape, and then I'm going to throw the pizza in there. So let's get that baking steel in there. Always wear your gloves, please, before you take off the door. So many times people are tempted to just grab those handles. The handles are hot, so please make sure you wear gloves. Okay, and then go ahead and put the door back on because you want this to act as an oven, so you want everything to heat up. I'm going to let that get back up to heat, and it's going to heat up that piece of steel at the same time. Now we need to assemble the dough and the crust and all the goodness. So I want these gloves out of the way for right now. I'm going to go ahead and grab that pizza scrape and get it ready because I'm going to assemble everything on the pizza scrape because I don't want to have to pick it up off of my counter or the board and then put it on the scrape and then from the scrape to the Pyro Tower. I want it to go from here to there. Keep it simple. I need to add a little flour to my dough and I need to rip it apart. I just want to make sure that it's not too sticky. This is just a dough that, I Googled pizza dough recipes and it's very simple. This dough is just a, simple ingredients: garlic, flour, yeast, water, some salt, basil. I know people can get really creative with their pizza dough. Okay, so I'm going to stretch out my dough to the thin or thickness that I want. I got some, there we go. And usually you want about, a rectangular kind of shape or a round shape. That's personal preference. I don't really know what people prefer on that, but all right. I don't want a super thick crust, but I also don't want something that's going to rip when I'm trying to put everything on there. All right, so I think that's about right. So I'm going to put my crust, almost forgot the most important part. You don't want your dough to stick to the pizza scrape. So it's really important that you put down some cornmeal. Some people use flour. Some people, you can use parchment paper, but if you're using fire, don't do parchment paper. That should be self-explanatory. But you can use it, if you use the pizza still in an oven, which you can use the parchment paper in the oven. But I'm going to put some cornmeal down here. Just so I can be sure it's not going to stick on there as I'm scraping off. And yes, I make a mess, but I don't really care. Okay. And I'm going to take my pizza dough. It's kind of shrinking up on me. It's because I made it early. And throw it right on there. I'm going to go ahead and put my garlic, or I need these three things. I need some olive oil. And spread that around. All the way to the edges, so it gets it nice and toasted. I'm gonna put some garlic powder on there, just to make that crust taste Much better. You don't have to do that. Just personal preference. Some pizza sauce. Well, I'm just going to use my hands because I always use my hands when making pizza. I'm not going to change it up now. And then we start with a few simple, easy toppings today. Put some cheese. And some of those peppers. Spread these out. I have some sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil. I buy these in a jar. They're one of my favorite things to add to pizza. The first time I used them, my husband said, I don't know what I'm eating, but it's awesome. So I use them every time. And then we're gonna throw on some pepperonis just to add a little bit of protein other than cheese on there. Now, I have a very odd shaped pizza, but I mean, my kids usually eat it better if it's a funny shape. It's like making shapes out of the clouds, figure out what it is. So they'll make up what it is afterward, which is kind of fun. And I'm gonna throw on some more mozzarella, just little pearls here to melt into it. And we like the cheese. I am not a pizza connoisseur. I am just a home mom, chef, you know, making what I know my kids will eat. And if they get to make it with me, they find it to be a lot more fun. So this is just something that we've done. All right, so what I need to do is I need to go ahead and take the door off here. And I'm actually going to take the bottom door off too because I want more oxygen to go in there as I'm cooking the pizza. And if I want to control it, I'll put the vent door back on there. And I'm ready to go ahead and just scrape this directly into the Pyro Tower. All right. There we go. So now we just need to put the thermometer door on there and let it cook. I'm also going to tell you what I like to do, which you do not have to do this. If your fire is not going really crazy, which mine isn't, it's actually really good. I could leave it right there and let the pizza cook and it'd be fine. If your fire is going a little bit hotter, just simply shift the firewood rack over to the side, and I'll show you. Just like that, which is actually what I'm gonna do. And that baking steel is hot and it's going to keep heating, but I want some fire to come up and lick over the side of that pizza steel, and I want it to catch the crust just on the edge. And I'll rotate the pizza after a couple minutes or a few minutes just so that every side of it gets that little lick of fire. But I don't want a lot of fire directly underneath the pizza steel because if you do, it's just gonna make so much heat that it's gonna burn the pizza crust. And right now, all we're going for is for it to get a nice toasted, chewy crust, but to melt the toppings. So that crust is going to toast. It's gonna do what it needs to do on the pizza steel. You just need to be careful with how much you're fueling underneath it. So I'm gonna add a little bit of wood over here because I want a little bit more fire to come up and over, and then I'm gonna just let it cook, and in about 3 minutes I'm gonna check it and turn it, and then it'll be about another 3 to 5 minutes and it should be completely done. All right, the pizza's ready. I just checked it a little bit ago. I gave it a couple more minutes, so I'm gonna get my pizza scrape. Take off the door with gloves. It looks perfectly toasted. Everything's kind of melted on the top. I'm gonna scrape it onto that scrape off of the pizza steel and slide it on my cutting board. That looks fantastic. That looks so perfect. Whew, that was loud, sorry. That looks perfect. I am going to cut into it. I want to kind of show first a little bit of the crust and the bottom of the crust, just to prove that I didn't scorch the bottom of it and show you. All right, that crust is perfectly toasted along the edge and it goes in through the middle. There's no burning there. It's exactly how I want my pizza crust to be. I am going to cut a little piece. All right, so I need to tell you, I cannot eat any pizza, like any pizza, anywhere we've gone without some fire-based spicy honey. And I know that seems really weird to some people, but if you haven't tried it, go to firebeehoney.com and try it, and you'll be carrying it everywhere with you. My best friend didn't believe me, and then she did it. She's like, I have to eat it on pizza every time now. Oh, that is so good. Woo. Oh my gosh. That's really good pizza. Oh, that's delicious. Now let me tell you, it is so fun to cook in the Pyro Tower, but especially to make pizza and to be successful with it. I know it's hard when you try and do all the work and then it comes out burnt. So if you follow those few tips and tricks, I think you'll be successful and make an awesome tasting pizza. Another thing, if you're gonna make another pizza, you need to take that baking steel out for a little while and then assemble your next pizza and put it back in, because it will just keep heating up unless you have a dampened fire and you can control it. But right now, since that fire is going pretty hot on that one side, I would take the baking steel out, set it and lean it against the tower for a little bit. It is going to be super hot, so please wear very good gloves when pulling that out. And then I would go ahead and put my next pizza in. Unless you had your pizza ready right away, you can go ahead and have it on there and ready to go, and then take it off. But I usually have the scrape ready to take out the other pizza, so I don't have another pizza ready yet. So take that baking steel out, assemble your next pizza on there, put the baking steel in. It will still be hot, so you don't need to reheat it. You're just trying to keep it from getting too hot, and then slide your pizza on there because the pizza still will stay hot for quite a while. Now, if you have any questions about how I did this today, or if I left anything out, please, please, please go to proudpyro.com, contact our support team. They'll definitely contact me, or if they know the answer, they'll tell you themselves. But we want you to have fun, a great experience cooking on the Pyro Tower. So give it a try. I think your kids would really love the pizza too if they get to help put on the toppings if you have children. Or if you're just entertaining a bunch of friends, it's a great thing to serve, especially in this fall when it's beautiful evenings. It's just a wonderful dish to put out there. It'll get eaten up here really quickly by all of our guys out here. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please visit our Facebook or Instagram and all the social media sites and our YouTube channel for more tips and tricks. If you have questions, again, go to proudpyro.com. Thank you very much.